Yo, 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 welcome to the Superhero Hub. I'm Sam,
I'm Matt.
and today we're going to be reviewing,
Iron Fist.
episode 7, Felling with Tree Routes.
Roots.
For English people, it's roots, for Americans, it's routes, not to be discerned with actual tree roots. Right, so there was two great moments in this episode that made me laugh. As opposed to like the actual big moments that were good. So the first one was right at the start of the episode. You had Harold sitting there, and like the hand people obviously come in. They yank him out his coffin on the random, but like I don't know whether this guy is actually meant to be like. I mean, can this guy actually properly fight? Because
Yeah, I don't know.
they're bigging him up, but I don't think he can fight. So anyway, kind of, he's sitting there on the sofa, and they've got their knife over his hand, like they're gonna cut his hand off. And then he's like, and then they talk about Danny Rand, and he's like, look, I don't even know Danny Rand. I haven't even seen him. You know what I mean? And then like he just walks in, and it's like, oh Harold, we got a problem, and then it all kicks off. I
Yeah.
thought that was great. That was real good off the bat. It's like these kind of starter things, like right off the bat.
This is the strongest opening to any episode of the show, by
I
far.
I disagree. The one where he gets kicked off the building and he just flies
Oh,
diagonal
no
onto
way.
the
This is
screen.
much stronger.
That was way great. So yeah,
You're crazy.
I mean, well, this was probably the greatest episode so far. I mean, this was a
Yes,
sick
it was.
episode. If all the episodes were like this, it'd get better reviews. So basically,
Didn't you
so
have a second thing?
yeah, but that's later on in the episode.
Okay.
So there is a second thing, and I'll alert you to when it is. But that was great, even greater than that. So yeah, so they rough up the hand, kill him, and then obviously Danny like vanishes and is like, oh yeah, I'll sort it out. He calls Ward and is like, yo, I've got a problem, I need you. So obviously Ward's getting gassed, runs over there, and he just like walks it. Well, I mean, there's three bits actually. Now I think about this one, this was great as well. So my man, you got to figure he's led a privileged life, and he doesn't really see these gritty, nasty things.
Who, Ward?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
yeah, we saw the guy with his head lopped off last episode, so that was probably the first time he's seen a dead body, let alone like a head on a stick. I mean, that'd mess anyone up. So he walks into the penthouse, and you've got Harold on the floor, two bodies, tarp out, smashing their faces in with like hammers. He loses it, goes to throw up, runs towards the bodies, as opposed to like melting like that. Oh my god, runs towards the bodies, grabs a bin, picks it up, there's a finger in there, he's retching, is about to throw up, picks up the bin, and then just forgets he wants to be sick. He like just puts the bin down, then is like, fine, you know what I mean? I thought that was a great moment. It's like, why didn't he throw up? Why did him looking at the severed finger immediately just be like, on second thoughts I don't need to throw up?
I don't know.
That mind boggles. So yeah, he gets kind of enlisted into dumping the bodies in the lake, and it's just like, oh, the police and the hand will find them eventually, but obviously they popped out the teeth, so like you can't identify them, and go from there.
I mean, Ward is obviously, to me anyway, he's the strongest character in the show. I think,
Well, he's had a massive character arc. He came off like
yeah.
a douchebag, and then he's kind of become more vulnerable. Then with his whole drug addiction angle, and the fact he's got to keep this secret and stuff like that. And then obviously he's fell into drug addiction. Now he's dumping bodies. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, his character arc's been massive.
Right, and you think in comparison, I think maybe my biggest problem with the show, aside from the dialogue, is Danny Rand himself is so bland, especially in comparison to Ward.
Yeah.
Um, and what's Danny's story in this episode? Like he's at the company again, and he's trying to.
Well, it's starting to kind of real. It's like Bruce Wayne when he kind of notices there's stuff going on Wayne Tech. What since he's been gone, you know what I mean? It's like you got Madam Zhao,
Gal.
whatever, Gal, whatever, man. So she's kind of like is sweating over her, like, oh my god, she knew my father. So then like is at the companies trying to find files, obviously trying to connect it to her to try and find out what their interaction is. Then she kind of just walks in, so he goes and talks to her. He knows they've got a massive involvement. Fists up, jumps down the elevator, finds out that like on like a floor in the building there's actually people who work for Rand who are conspiring with her. So then he manages to get all the stuff about the heroin trade. So like Oliver's listing Arrow one by one, he can categorically like start dismantling the hands, starting with their heroin business. It's interesting as well because when Ward gets to the office, is like obviously his sister's like bothering him, like, yo, obviously you've got issues, blah blah blah, and then like his phone goes off and it's like Frank N. Stein, and then she's like, yo, who's Frank Stein? It's like, is this girl dumb? Come on, put the pieces together. Is that your dealer? Is that your dealer?
How long has it's been? What, 12 years or so? Her dad's been around, and Ward is a drug addict who keeps mysteriously disappearing. Like, she's obviously not. I mean, apparently she's smart enough to run the company, but not smart enough to figure this crap out.
I think they're just explaining it away with the drug addiction is erratic behaviour, but I mean, why would he save the number under Frank N. Stein? Come on.
Why not?
Come on, knock it off. Oh, jeez. So, yeah, I mean, so Danny kind of, as well as like with the heroin stuff, obviously he has to kind of get hold of the chemist who vanished last episode, because he's the only one who knows the secret of how to make the drugs and stuff like that, and apparently is going to be roughed up until he kind of gives the secret up. So he's with Colleen and stuff like that, and then he's talking with her and stuff like that, enlisting her, and then obviously they get what can only be described as intimate. But before that happens, this is my other moment, right? So she's dressing his wounds, she puts the alcohol on it, wraps it up, and then she goes and gets 2 glasses, hands him a glass, and is like, what am I supposed to do? He actually says, what do I do with this? It's like, come on, knock it off. I can't believe you just said that.
Really?
What do you think?
Of all the doofy crap this guy's been saying, that surprises you?
That she gives him a cup and he goes, what do I do with this? It's like, wear it as a hat. What do you think you're going to do with it? You know what I mean? I couldn't believe he said it. I lost my mind. I thought it was great. He's the worst. He's the worst. Like, who gets handed a cup and then goes, what am I supposed to do with this? It's like, duh, I don't know. You know, drive it. You know what I mean?
It's just so serious and dumb at the same time. Like, even, you know, he does cool things, but then you think, ugh.
That was just crazy. That was a crazy line.
Like when he jumped down the lift, yeah. But he couldn't help. He have to say a doofy little prayer before he did it. Yeah. And then when he's got the woman, who's doing the deal with Madame Gal.
Yeah.
Why are you selling this poison? Really? Like, who speaks like that? No one.
I don't know, but I thought that cup thing was crazy.
But yeah, they hook up. Good for him, I guess.
My question is, did he use the Iron Fist?
Ugh.
Yes or no? Well, she said she enjoyed it, so I'm guessing...
He never uses the damn Iron Fist, does he? Ever. Unless he's going to punch a hole in a damn wall.
Well, he said he's been abstinent, but she seemed to enjoyed it, so I'm guessing he used the Iron Fist. So yeah, moving on from that, I mean, what else kind of happened? You kind of...
He's trying to... The thing at the company was something to do with his dad and trying to like restore his dad's legacy, where he's not involved at the company. And so the board, the sister, what's her name, Joy, writes up an apology basically for him, right?
Yeah.
Which of course he doesn't do.
Right. And then it's like, I want to close down the plant, but it's already gone behind people's backs, and obviously there's a reference to Karen, whatever her name is from Daredevil. I forget her name. What's her name? Karen something. Karen Page.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He says,
I missed that.
Yeah, I gave the story to Karen Page from like the Bulletin.
Oh, right, yeah. I forgot she's like a reporter or something now, isn't she?
Yeah, so it leads to them being removed.
Right, from the... I mean, and Ward was on his way out anyway, right? Because he was taking a break, but in reality he was leaving. But yeah, they get ousted from the company.
Yeah, it's interesting as well, because when he was dumping the bodies, I remember him looking at his phone at like a bank account. I was like, yo, why are you checking your bank account? So I think really he was just trying to get away to rehab, and then his cards declined, and he goes... I'm
not sure it was rehab though. I think he was leaving for good. Because remember, he hinted a few episodes ago, he was
Yeah, but
talking about with.
the woman called from a facility and she was like, "Look, your card's
Yeah,
been
I'm sure.
declined."
I'm sure he was going to a facility, but having taken all the money, I think he was never planning on coming back.
Yeah, it turns out he was embezzling. He embezzled like 25 million at least, and it's like, don't this guy have money? It's like, because it's like, it's weird. It's like,
No, he doesn't have money, does he?
yeah, but he must own like 20% of $1 billion company, and he's got
No, no, because remember this was like he was talking to Joy a few episodes back, and they were talking about a condition of their dad's will, whether they have to be at the company. If they leave, they lose all their inheritance. So if he leaves the company, which he was doing, he was never really going to come back, right? He loses all his money.
Oh.
So if he embezzles the money, he can take it, and he doesn't have to come back.
That makes sense. So yeah, he kind of confronts Harold. Harold obviously knows he's been embezzling and stuff like that. I mean, back with Danny, I mean, he teams up with like the Triad guys from the other episode, and they assault like a warehouse to try and save the chemist. The chemist ends up dying, but it's like, yo, I told her how to make the heroin. It's like, where's Madame Gao? And then, oh, she's gone off to this place, and that just happens to be the place in China where they were all flying to when their plane crashed.
Yeah.
So whether there's meant to be a link there, because it's like, is I shocked all of a sudden, like what? Just because she's going to the same place they've gone to, what's that supposed to mean?
Also,
I think they're trying to hint that she had something to do with the plane crash, but it's like, because obviously she knew Wendell Rand and that stuff. So I mean, they kept hinting.
Maybe Colleen got visited by a guy who has to be somebody.
Yeah, they kind of made a big deal about that introduction. Probably we'll hear more from him in the coming episodes, but it's just like whatever. I was like, she best not be messing about with him as well.
But remember when they were talking?
Yeah,
he said the Iron Fist. Is it really him?
Yeah, because she must have told him. It's like, yo, why is she going around telling people?
But he knows what the Iron Fist is then.
I know. I guess so.
Is he Danny Rand's friend?
No, he's not. Because I mean, he was mentioned again, Davos, how they were going around jacking the wine. No, that's not him.
Okay.
That is not the Steel Serpents. It is just another guy, whether he ends up fighting them. So yeah, the chemist is dead. Madame Gao's flew off back to China. Well, to China, not back to China. And yeah, Ward confronts Harold, and then finally snaps, and then ends up juking him about 20 times on the random.
I mean, you can see that coming, can you? It's kind of like the Kingpin taking his dad out.
Yeah. My question for that is, why didn't he just leave him in the penthouse? He jukes him up, and then he ends up taking him to the river to dump his body. It's like, if the police go there and find their bodies, and like they just pull out Harold Meacham, it's like, this guy's meant to be like dead for the past 12 years, you know what I mean? And then we find him in the river, recently killed with a ton of stab wounds. That's gonna ask a lot of questions. Why didn't he just leave him in the penthouse and then just assume the hand's gonna come along and like deal with it for him?
Because the hand would bring him back to life.
Oh, okay then. That makes sense. But what, he wants the police to find him?
I don't know.
I think it was very well.
I don't think he's thinking rationally, is he?
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. So yeah, he's driving in the car and he's grinning to himself, like proper pleased with himself. So I think that pretty much covers the whole episode. Let's talk numbers.
7.5. I think this is the best episode of the show.
I'll give this a lot happened. Yeah, there was a couple like pointless bits and stuff like that. I mean, now they're all out the company. I'll assume they haven't got no money. I think Danny's got cash. He's the only one with cash because he didn't have no stipulations. So they're all. I can't believe they've all been ousted out of this company. That's why I can't stand board of directors. It's like, you're kicking me out of my company. These random people. I'm
not even sure. I mean, look, I don't know how big business works, but can they? I understand they could vote one of them out. Is there really enough of them if you have to get all three of the major shareholders of the company out? Is that possible?
I don't know. It's craziness. So yeah. So now I don't know what Dan is going to do, but you got to figure he's going after Madame Gao. Ward is just going to carry on his descent or whatever. Joy, kind of pointless. She's still umming and ahhing about doing the right thing. So she's gone from, like, she had potential in the first couple episodes, and now she's just a pointless character.
Yeah,
So
but,
yeah.
I mean, on that though, correct me if was it not that Danny has 51% of the company?
Yeah.
That's the majority share. Like, can they really kick him out if he has the majority of the company?
I guess so.
All right.
I mean, it's a massive, like, it's like flipping Steve Jobs with Apple. They got him out, didn't they?
Yeah, but I'm not sure he owned the majority. Okay, you know, it's not
He created the company. Of course, he owned. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but then it depends, once you take it public, how much of the shares you have.
That's what I mean. So a business tip, don't take your public company, because some random guy is going to vote you off the board and take it all. This has been the Superhero Hub. I'm Sam.
I'm not.
And we'll see you in the next episode.